exercise is called the sagittal push out. So we're pushing the dumbbells out into the sagittal plane, and simultaneously the leg is pushing out and the foot is pushing out into the posterior sagittal plane. The thing that makes the difference here is underfoot I've got a glider. So I'm performing the push with tension and the return with tension. Huge work for the core, including the pelvic floor, and also the added work of bringing the distal load back to home. That's also huge work again for the core and pelvic floor. So we've really doubled our money here. So into position. The key thing here is to get that breathing nailed down. So TVA is on, we push away and we push with tension in the glider, and now keeping tension on the foot with the glider. So push away. And there, as I'm working, I can feel the whole core is on. So the key thing, keep the tension on the foot with the glider as you push away. Here we're doing a contralateral punch out, okay? So we're doing a contralateral punch out into the frontal planes. Simply put, the foot goes out here as the arms go out here. We take origins for all of the core away from insertions, and as we drive back to the start position, that's the concentric phase. Obviously with the foot we're performing abduction, so we've got work for the pelvic floor. So in real time, adding the breath. Okay, so now we're on the level 4 exercises of Crunchless core. So this client, the level 4 client, she's way into the return journey of sort of almost like forgetting she's had a baby. This client has come to you for a nip and a tuck, some real fat busting, chub busting, and we give it to her. We've got great metabolic exercises in level 4. So we're going to start with this wood chop. It's dynamic and it's weighted. Okay. So we're here, we drop down, and obviously great squats, great for the pelvic floor and the glutes and the quads, and then we lift up and we're taking, and you can see I bend my elbows to almost like tap the ball on the rear of my shoulders. So we've got a big stretch on the abdominals as we come up, and then we go center, we go straight overhead into tiptoes, same thing. We bend the elbows, getting great extension, again firing pelvic floor as well as the abdominal wall, and then last version we go over to the other side. So real time now. So that's a medicine ball 3-point wood chop. Okay, so this next exercise is called an inverted lunge with a reach up into extension. I'm going to give you the front view first so you can see what's going on with my front foot. I'll work with it inverted, and I'll turn to the side so that you can see me going up into extension. So an inverted front foot switches on the glutes. Okay, then we're coming up into extension and again stimulating the deep front line, asking that to speak to the pelvic floor. So we're getting a full double whammy of front line activation and glute activation. So we're set up into a normal lunge position, then invert the front foot. This immediately turns the glutes on. We go down into a normal lunge, but then as we come up into an extension and reach. Now I'm driving through the front heel as I come up. And you can feel it's so involved. So if I turn this on the side, the front foot is inverted, I drop down into the lunge, and as I come up, you can see I go into an extension and feel the work all the way down to the pubic area. Okay, so now we are going to demonstrate a soft tissue release for the piriformis with Elizabeth in this lovely comfy side lying position. So you ask the client to stack hip on hip so she's not rolling backwards, so she stays nice and high on the hip. And then you're going to ask the client then to perform the clamshell, and then this then shortens the piriformis. We then go into the meat of the piriformis, and I can feel some tension there already. And what we're going to do is then we're going to then literally go into the meat of the piriformis. I'm supporting these bottom fingers with this top, and then we're just going to sort of literally hang on to it with the pads of my fingers, not digging my nails in. And so we go in and I hang on to the piriformis, and then I ask Elizabeth to exhale as she then brings the knee back down to the start position. Great, and rest. And how is that for you, Elizabeth? Could I go any harder, or do you think that was a great amount?
You can go harder.
I got
good, but you can slightly harder.
Okay, so the key thing again here is to ask the client. So I went, you know, I started off with a moderate sort of hold, and Elizabeth says she can take a little bit more, and so then I'll apply more work to releasing, to holding the lock. So the key thing, let's go moderate first. Remember, consider the baby here, and we don't want the mom being startled and actually being in physical pain. So now we'll try a second version with a bit more of a harder lock. So we go in, and now I'm going to add my body weight more, go on top of the lock, and now Elizabeth, exhale to close the legs. Good, and rest. Great. And how was that one?